When I first started the Blueprint model, I had just had my baby and I was working incredible hours as an event planner. I was at my last resort. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I was going to have to, close my business because I didn't have time to take care of what fed my soul, but also to take care of my family. I think I saw maybe very beginning of January, maybe end of December 2016, that there was something called the Blueprint model, and it was exactly what I needed. I was not a numbers person. I was a planner with regard to timelines and how to make an event look pretty, but when it came down to running my business and financially making a profit, I had no clue. I dove right in, started taking the course, going through it, weekly, just making sure I stayed on top of everything. And I really came to realize that my season was not necessarily just to make money, but it was to find the time. With the time, I learned that I needed to create systems, and the systems have so freed up my time to be with my child and to also to be with my family and to run my business thoughtfully instead of feeling like I was just trying to catch up all the time. My love language to my clients is always to give them more of my time. So I gave them more time, and wouldn't you know, the money came in after. So after my season of time, I went into my season of money. How do I make more money? And it wasn't by taking on 15 clients a year. It was about taking on 5. And those 5 have surpassed my budget goals and my sales goals for all of 2017 and 2018. So I'm already there within just a few months, and I really see it taking off from there. I would not have been able to do this without the Blueprint model, and I say this wholeheartedly because it has changed my life. It has changed the way that I interact with my family and my friends and my clients, and I just couldn't be any more thankful.
I have my cash flow plan beside me, and I have been up 60 freaking % this whole year simply by planning ahead for slow months, and all of a sudden the money is there. What? You are brilliant, and I am so grateful for you and the way you love us and take care of us and our hearts and just are you. I sometimes feel like the 2nd grade kid who's like, "Teacher, look, I did my homework."
Going through the course gave me validation that I was doing things correctly and allowed me to make a plan to grow efficiently and effectively. But it also allowed me to take my life back because it helped me make decisions about outsourcing and hiring and things like that to take things off my plate. And without it, I never would have known that it was possible to do that, or that it was also the smart thing to do. What changed for me financially after the Blueprint model was, because I'm such a planner, my biggest fear was that I wasn't going to have enough to pay my taxes that I owed. So every dollar I made just went straight into a savings account. I didn't even touch it, so I wasn't paying myself. After I took the class and was able to really define my numbers and understand how to pay myself, and also have enough to know that I would have enough to pay my taxes and not be audited, I was able to start taking a paycheck, which was nice because I had that validation. I'm working, I'm making money, I'm paying myself, I'm contributing to my family.
This class has been beyond helpful for me. You helped me adjust my pricing to get that 40-60 margin. I went well beyond reaching my 6-figure sales goal for the year, and you opened my eyes to things I had no idea were happening in my business. That's the section that made me a true believer. I started telling everyone about your class. I'm still implementing some things, and I don't fully know all my numbers and exactly how my monthly sales goal will break down, but I've made a world of advances since starting your course. Thanks again. The Blueprint model teaches you how to be a better business owner. Whether you're a designer, a florist, or a vintage rental company, it can go across the whole gamut. It's easy to sit around and say, I need to have this or I should have that, but you're so busy running a small business, you just don't have time. This program carves out time to sit down, to plan, to dream, to talk to other creatives struggling with the same things. At the end of the process, you'll actually have a budget on paper, goals written down. Sitting down to take the time to do those things, it's invaluable.
Before doing the Blueprint, I took a $30,000 loan to bring on an assistant, and that was heavy. I was burning myself out really quickly with 3 small kids trying to keep up and be a good mom and own a business. Taking the loan was my only option. So we brought somebody on full time, and it was great. I got more free time. I was able to pass some projects off, but it was still that guilt of that $30,000. I did the blueprint, and Shanna just said, you got to figure out your money. And I paid off that loan in 9 months. The feeling, I'm gonna cry now, but the feeling of doing that and accomplishing that goal, I didn't even realize there was a stressful in our relationship with my husband. Like, I think he resented my career a little bit, so I was taking time away from our kids, I'm taking time away from our relationship, and I owed us $30,000. If I decided the next day to pack up my business and be done because I didn't want to do it anymore, I still owed us that money. So getting our finances figured out for the business to help us personally, it changed my life. I know it sounds really dramatic, but getting that off my shoulder feels really good. And our goal for next year, I wrote it down, is to give myself a salary, pay myself. So I'm hoping that because I paid that $30,000 off last year, that even some of that could go into my pocket. That would feel really good. And then I would be contributing to our household rather than just being in the black. I did have one aha moment too when Shanna said to get your finances together. I sat down and I looked at how much I was spending on eating out, and specifically Chipotle. And that number for the year that I hadn't paid us back anything was $6,000. I spent $6,000 on feeding me and my assistant Chipotle. What? I cried. That was insane. That $6,000 could have gone towards that loan. So I think when Jana said, look at your money, and I looked and I saw that was my light bulb.
This program will absolutely change your life and give you the tools you need to create an intentional and inspiring lifestyle. Shanna is like the best friend that comes into your house when you're in your PJs with messy hair, your kids are crying, and the dishes are piled high. I seriously wanted to reach into the screen a few times and give her a huge hug because she spoke right to me as a creative entrepreneur. If you can't afford this program, sell something in your house to take it.
The Blueprint model has given me is the ability to not only focus on it professionally, but personally and financially. And so for me, the fundamentals are there. And I don't need any other platform to do that because all of those to me are just a distraction. I think this model goes back to the basics of what we get back to at the end of the day.
And what the Blueprint model also focuses on is the heart behind it. It's not just a workshop to look at your numbers.
The pricing formula was key. Narrowing it all down to a formula was great, and I loved your recommendation that we move towards that price 10% at a time. This definitely made an impact on me and the business. I also loved what you said about the 80-20 rule. I had heard it before, but it was so worthwhile to think about it again in terms of not just the most difficult clients, but to actually think about it where 80% of my income is coming from. I realized that spending more time building networks with our corporate clients versus trying to land another wedding was key.
She gave me the sense that I could do something, but I didn't really know how to start a business. So I signed up for the Blueprint online, and I had the best time just connecting with other women, people who are creative, and she gave me faith in myself. And I think that if anybody wants to sign up for her program, she's the key.
I know you'll be so proud. I just booked a custom illustration for $800 just for my time and creativity. She will continue to pay me for anywhere she chooses to use the illustration for usage rights. The Blueprint model is paying for itself. Creativity takes courage after all. I'm feeling so much better in my business because I'm in control and I'm not being controlled by my customer. This is the best money I've spent in my life, which is saying a lot because the second best money I've ever spent was to go see Beyonce in concert. You're ahead of Beyonce.
The greatest change that Shayna has made in my business is that I'm now actually financially stable. I have profits that I can pull out of my business to pay bills. The Blueprint model has truly taught me systems and workflows, planning, and has given me the ability to be a business owner and have some financial freedom without fears.
I just wanted to share with you that as of last week, I have met my sales goal for the year. When I set my goal last fall, it felt very ambitious and scary, and so it feels equally exciting and happy to have met the goal. I am so grateful. I want to cry about how happy and light I feel at this moment. I realize that with my new spending plan, I truly am able to pay off all my debt, and I should be able to do it in under a year, plus start a retirement account, plus have money to help with my family's general expenses. I have felt so burdened and stressed by money for so long, and I know and now feel truly empowered. Amazing.
3 months after I completed the course, I quit my job that I'd been at for 12 years in a completely comfortable place, stable career that I felt like I'd be at forever. The tools that I got through the Blueprint model were something that I could have never ever done on my own. And I've even found other courses since then that just aren't right for me. You know, they're not the kind of close relationship that you feel like you have with Shanna.
For the very first time, I'm making every business decision intentionally with my numbers and core motivators in mind, and writing my cost of goods on something other than a Post-it. I knew from the moment you announced the Blueprint model that I had to do everything in my power to sign up. I knew that I needed a reset in my business priorities, more work-life balance, and a plan on how to achieve it.
And it's the safest community of entrepreneurs that just are welcoming and encouraging and inspiring.
It changed my whole perspective on my business. It left me just with a lot of encouragement. It left me with a plan. It helped me to see where I needed to be and where I wanted to go. And it has totally just freed me up from just a lot of chaos and a lot of confusion. And I'm so super grateful,
Shanna Skidmore literally changed my life. I know that sounds a tad bit overdramatic, but hey, it's the truth. When I first met Shanna, I was feeling overwhelmed, overworked, and had no idea how our little business was going to keep moving forward. She's an incredible sounding board, visionary, and friend who is forever in your corner helping you fight for what you want. I would recommend working with Shanna to any creative entrepreneur. Trust me, it'll change your life. Blueprint gives stress-free structure for the stressed creative. You don't have to be overwhelmed by all the things. Sure, you've scoured the internet for ways to make your business better, but have you really implemented those lessons with a well-ordered plan? You can make a plan, work it, and see your business work for you. With Blueprint, you have more than a teacher. You have an encourager who breaks it down step by step and gives you a very comprehensive look at, honestly, just about every area you need help with in your business.
I felt like I was all over the place and doing all different kinds of events for all different kinds of people, and I was really at a place where I was sort of just taking business that was falling on my lap, that was seemingly easy, and I wasn't keeping track of how I was spending my time and what my time was worth, and I was just floundering. Spending the time at Blueprint and going home with the tools and the nuggets and the ideas that Shayna gave us really propelled me to a place where I was saying no to people that I would not have said no to the year before. I had a plan. I knew what I needed to charge. I knew who I wanted to work with. I had identified who my client was and who my client wasn't. I was able to increase my client average, which was just because I figured out who my client was and who I wanted the client to be. That was a huge gift, and hopefully you're giving yourself that gift now too.